about ourselves. Reverend Valentine, and I'll kind of waddle myself down here and then.
And I've never had to reach into my bra to turn myself on. Usually somebody else has. So there you go. And you see, this is really a stretch for me because that's not my sense of humor. But that's what I'm trying to talk about, is the stretch for ourselves today and the masks that we wear. Those masks that we wear are so powerful. But I want you to be excited about your life. I want you to be happy. So therefore, I want to talk about the power of living an authentic life. And in order for us to do that, we have to unmask our true selves. So because it was Halloween, a couple of weeks ago, I was with one of my friends, and she was making masks for her grandchildren. And she was making a Bugs Bunny mask, and I remember Bugs Bunny, most of us do. And then she was making a fireman's mask for her grandson. So I thought, I remember wearing masks at Halloween, and I made masks for my kids. So I think because the Sunday was so close to Halloween, I decided I was going to talk about masks. And if you notice, there's a mask up here that Donna brought, and it's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And there's a mask down there that I got when I was in Austria, and it's a decorative mask. It's not a mask that you wear. So I'd like you to take a moment and think back about a time when you were a child. What was your favorite mask at Halloween? Or did you ever go to a masquerade ball? And remember that mask and how it felt on your skin. And there was that momentary thrill of being someone else or something else rather than yourself. You had fun. You had fun being someone else. But when you took off that mask, you were back to being yourself. But as time went on, things have changed. You grew up. And things happened to you, and you got older. And in our lives today, whether we realize it or not, we often wear masks. And they're not those physical masks that you see. They're not the masks that you put on at Halloween. The masks that you wear now are emotional and psychological masks. And those masks, they hide our true selves. They hide who we really are beneath those masks. And we wear masks. We wear masks most of the time, whether we realize it or not. And we wear those masks for protection, for acceptance. We wear those masks out of fear because we feel that we're judged. And often we wear those masks because our families have put them on us, or our friends have put them on us, our partners, or the society we live in has assigned those masks to us. And as we wear those masks, we often lose sight of who we truly are. As we pretend to be someone we are not, we carry a very heavy weight of that pretense. Often, this can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and total emptiness in our heart of who we are. But you see, we can change all that. And today, I would like you to embark on a journey of introspection and self-discovery. A journey to understand the masks we wear and the reasons why we wear them. And how, with self-acceptance and courage, we can remove them and embrace our divine selves, because that's who we truly are. We are divine beings. Everything about us is perfect just the way it is. So as we do this, as we embrace who we truly are, we can develop a deeper connection with ourselves and the people in our lives, and our divine connection with our Creator. Today, let's go deeper. Let's go into that sacred space of our heart that resonates with who we truly are behind the masks that we wear, or the masquerade that we pretend is our life. So let's go back in time a little bit. Masks have been around from the beginning of time. Primitive man wore masks or makeup on their face to scare the enemy. Masks were used for many different reasons. They were used to celebrate. They were used for the rituals. They were used for entertainment, decoration like the one down there, for pagan worship. And masks were used in the theater when it first started. You see, women couldn't be actresses in those days. Men played both roles, so they had to wear masks when they played the feminine role. But these masks, they were accepted because they were only worn during the time of celebration or renewal or performance. They were not worn consistently. But beyond these tangible masks that we can touch and feel, that we're part of the decorative part of our life, today there is a complex weave of invisible masks that we knowingly or unknowingly wear each day. And we think the masks are invisible because they're not tangible. We can't touch them. But those masks cover up who we really are. Those masks, they take away our courage. And we wear masks when we are afraid. We wear the mask of happiness, sometimes even when we're drowning inside in sorrow. We wear the mask of indifference when we are emotionally upset. And there's a big mask that a lot of people, especially our teens, wear today. And it's that digital mask. It's that mask that we or our children put out there on the internet, on Facebook, that everything's wonderful, they're terrific, and they can even alter their appearance on Facebook and make themselves look perfect. But what happens when that kind of mask is exposed out there? The reality of who they truly are at home is different. And they feel that depression and that anxiety because they can't live up to that image. You see, they show that mask of happiness, of success, of fun. And those pictures on that internet, they make them bigger than life. But like I said, in reality, it is so different. The nature of the mask we wear is dual. And for most of us, that's what it is. On one hand, the mask that we wear, they're a shield that protects us. It protects our vulnerabilities. But on the other hand, the mask that we wear, it imprisons us. It imprisons the truth of who we are. And we do not feel the things that we should feel because we're trying to hide behind that mask. You see, there are many reasons why we wear that mask that we embody and that we project to others. So I want to go over some of those reasons with you. One of the reasons is for protection. In a world where vulnerability can be seen as a weakness, we sometimes wear the mask to safeguard our feelings and our fears. We shield our heart from painful hurts, from criticism, from rejection. Our mask becomes the defense mechanism that we have. Our mask becomes the fortress against the world's harsh reality. But when this happens in our life, we live a very lonely existence. Another reason is for conformity. There is an unspoken script in our society, a set of expectations that dictate how we should behave, feel, and even think. From the pressure of fitting in during our school years, or the fear of standing out or being different, many of us have put on a mask of conformity just so we can fit into the norm. And as we do this, we lose our personal creativity. Another reason we wear masks is fear. Underneath many of our masks lies the raw emotion of fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of being judged for who we truly are. Fear of abandonment. If you knew who I really was, you might not like me and leave me. Fear of failure. I have to pretend I'm successful, so you may not know that I'm a failure. Fear of poverty. We wear this mask of everything being okay, and I have everything that I want. But a lot of the people are in debt up to their eyeballs to be able to wear that mask of having everything they want. And that causes a lot of pain and anxiety in their life. But the big one, the real big one that we have is, I don't feel that I'm good enough. And that is 80% of the human population. So don't think you're the only one that doesn't feel you're not good enough. Most of us have experienced that at one time or another. There's also the fear of exposing any of our perceived imperfections. But by hiding behind the masks, we rob ourselves of genuine connection with other people. Another reason is the roles we play. Throughout our lives, we step into various different roles. We had a role as being a child, a partner, a parent, our friends, a professional, or whatever other role that you carry. Each role that we have comes with its own set of expectations and our own set of masks. I want you to think of a man who hides the struggles to appear strong for his family. Many people do that. He has to feel competent, even though inside he may not feel that. Think of a woman who wears a happy face all the time, and yet her marriage is in shambles. But she has this idea that I have to present that I'm happy. Or a child who hides their bad habits, trying to be accepted rather than asking for help. And as that child sinks deeper and deeper into depression and anxiety because they're too fearful to ask for help, because the mask the child is wearing is that everything's fine. Take a look if you've got young children. Take a really good look at what's going on in their life. And are they wearing that mask that everything's fine? But inside, they're desperate, they're anxious. Be that parent who cares enough to really look behind the mask and see what's going on in their life. Or you may be a boss or have a boss who suppresses their emotions to appear invincible to their employees. These roles that we may feel are essential often come from a place of love or a place of duty. But the roles sometimes become cages if we lose ourselves in their complicity. Then there's those other masks that we have. Think of the people that you know that pretend they're helpless. They wear that mask of being helpless so you can fix everything for them. Think of the person who says they know it all. No matter what you say, they have to correct you because they know better. But deep down inside, they don't feel adequate. Think of the bully that's on the playground. He pushes people around, or she even pushes people around. But there's that internal fear, because if I push you, you'll think I'm stronger and you won't push me. Think of the person who's the controller. They feel so out of control in their life that the only way they feel good is when they wear that mask of being a controller. Or what about the woman, or even the man? The woman that's a sex kitten to get your attention. Or the man that has to have a six-pack because otherwise he doesn't feel adequate. Or biceps up to here. You see, those are all masks to hide who we really are. Or the person who has to be a clown, the jokester in your group of friends. And speaking of clowns, many years ago we had a clown workshop here. And a lot of us decided to take the workshop and be clowns. So in the book that we have on the table out there, I looked up that page where all the clowns are, and you can take a look at some of the people, and you know most of them. I was a clown in that workshop too. And I looked at it. I hadn't seen that picture for years, and I'm going, that was my clown outfit. So you see, each person, there is no such thing as there is not a mask for us. All of us have some kind of masks. And at the core, and the reason we decide to wear those masks, lives a universal human desire. The yearning to be loved, accepted, and understood. Yet ironically, by wearing these masks, we often distance ourselves from the very connection we want, or the very relationships we desire. So I want to pause for a moment and reflect. What mask do you find yourself wearing most of the time? Think about that. For me, I have two. One of my very first one was, I'm not good enough. I wasn't born in this country. I came to this country when I was around 6 years old. I didn't speak the language. I went straight to school. I was called DP. Didn't have a clue what other people were telling me. So there was a part of me that never felt good enough because I was made fun of. I looked different. I talked different. And I even failed the grade they put me in. You see, there was no one there that let me feel that I was good enough to be the same as the people that I was going to school with. And the other mask that I started to wear, and I still wear that mask, the mask of the caretaker. I had to look after everyone. My mother and stepfather didn't talk English. I learned to talk English before them. I talked English before them. I interpreted everything. I had a brother and sister born 10 and 11 years later. I ended up looking after them because my mother had to work. My mother got divorced. I looked after my brother and sister. I went into nursing, looking after people. My whole journey in life has always been looking after. Even ministry is looking after people because you're always helping or counseling or something like that. As I grew older and older, I became the caretaker of my children. And it seemed that I kind of found a way to make a lot of money. So people figured, well, she can help support me. And I support different people. So I still have that concept of being a caretaker. And I don't really resent that. But sometimes I think, well, I wouldn't mind having somebody look after me or take care of me. And then I go, no, I can't do that. Because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get crippled. I don't want something to happen to me that I need a caretaker. It's just amazing the emotions that come up when we say certain things to ourselves. So no matter what mask you wear, there's a cost to wearing that mask. One of the things is the loss of your true self. And that's a big one. Who would I have been if I didn't have to be the caretaker? I don't know. Each day we wear a mask. And the longer that we wear that mask, we drift away from who we truly are. Over time, we look at ourselves and wonder, who am I beneath this mask? Also, many expressions and emotions that we have are diminished when we wear a mask. They're unexpressed. And those emotions that we do not let out create physical pain or physical ailments in our life, and also create mental challenges. Sometimes I think, like 3 years I had a stroke. And I think I had that stroke because I went through a phase of my life that I felt fairly neglected and deceived. And when that came up for me, I didn't know how to deal with that. And like I said, illnesses happen in our lives just to make us change. I was very lucky. My grandson was living with me at the time, and I lived very close to the hospital. And he had phoned the ambulance very quickly and gave me 2 aspirins while I was laying on the floor. And I credit part of my recovery to him and to the medical profession that was there within 10 minutes. This was before COVID. I don't know what would happen today. So you see, true intimacy and connection comes from allowing another person to see who we truly are, warts and all. By hiding behind our masks, we may gain acquaintances, but we lose the truth of relationships. We risk losing deep, meaningful relationships. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear, or one of our greatest fears. But you see, if we wear a mask, it's the mask that person loves, because that's what we show them. And over time, we don't feel loved because there's not that deep connection. The way to be fully known without the mask and to be truly loved is what we're really after. To feel unconditional love and total acceptance, that's what makes our heart soar. Imagine all the opportunities that we've missed because we were too afraid to be ourselves. The friendships that we've lost. The adventures that we didn't experience. And the love stories that we didn't share with others and ourselves. As you ponder the risk of wearing your mask, I want you to think of the words of Marianne Williamson. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. The mask we wear might offer fleeting comfort, but most of the time, they dent the light and dim the light that is within us. Ask yourself, is the safety of the mask that I wear worth the cost of dimming my light and dimming my life? I want us to remember that who we truly are God's masterpieces. Each one of us is unique and precious. When we hide behind the mask, we obscure the wonderful creation that we were intended to be. The scriptures remind us that in God's eyes, our authentic self, with all our perceived flaws, are worth more than any mask that we may wear. So today we've discussed some of those thoughts and beliefs that we have that lead us to wear a mask. Now let's see how we can unmask. How can we reclaim our authentic selves? Ernest Holmes says this teaching tells us to change our thinking and change our life. So let's see how we can change our thinking about our authentic selves and change our life for a greater good. So let's start with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first step and always recognizing what's going on in our life. Ask yourself, what mask am I wearing and why do I wear it? So today when you go home, maybe do some journaling to help you take a deep dive into the truth of who you are and who you are. As we become more attuned to our inner feelings, we begin to discern the real from the facade. So ask yourself, why do I need this mask? What am I using it for? And how is it hurting me? One of the other reasons we can do is embrace your vulnerability. It's the birthplace of creativity, honesty, and change. It's also the birthplace of our true selves. Embrace your imperfections or your perceived imperfections, the scars you carry, the trauma you carry, the stories you have. Those things have made you who you are. Being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak. It means having enough courage to show your true self. You see, all of us have a story. All of us have had pain in our life. But if you can share that, and maybe you can't, but you can write it down on a piece of paper. And maybe by doing that, you can let go of partially that mask. Also, seek authentic friends. Surround yourself with people who love you for who you truly are. In their company, you can feel supported and accepted. That's why I enjoy our church community, because we truly accept and honor all people. We don't mind what they're doing, who they are. We allow them to be on their own journey, and we celebrate that journey with them. Also, celebrate the authentic moments that you have in your life. If you really feel pain, let that pain come out. If you really feel happiness, be happy, be joyful. Take off that mask that stops you from doing who you are. When you let your own light shine, you give other people permission to do the same. By unmasking ourselves, by letting our authentic light shine, we don't not only liberate ourselves, but we also inspire other people to do the same. When you know that I'm not perfect, and you may have that perception that I am, so help you God. Anyways, you don't have to be perfect in my presence. You can share who you truly are because you know that I can accept that. Ernest Holmes in his teaching emphasized the idea that we are individualizations of the one life, the one spirit, and the one mind. And when we remove our masks and embrace that divine, authentic self, we align ourselves with our Creator. This brings a sense of peace in our life, a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and love, and a greater connection to our spiritual self. When we are authentic, we create an atmosphere of trust and acceptance with the people in our life. How do you feel when someone's talking to you and they're saying something, and deep from your gut, you don't trust them? Your intuition says they're not real. They're not honest. You see, we know when something's not real. We can sense it. But many of us ignore that because we want them to feel good about who they are rather than accepting the authentic part because we know we can't trust them. Ernest Holmes tells us that we are made to soar in our life, to succeed and to prosper, to feel loved in every way. When we remove that mask and live from the heart, we tap into that limitless potential that lies within all of us, realizing that we are co-creators with the divine. We create the life we truly want. So what kind of life do you want? Do you want that authentic life and you know that that's the truth of what you want? And you show the truth of what you want? Today, I feel that we've traveled a personal journey. So I want you to feel into that concept, the concept of the mask that you may wear. We've exposed that allure of some of those masks and exposed some of the cost and the damage that's done to our life. So my hope for you today is to make a decision, to choose being authentic in some area of your life. And if you make that choice, it's like an affirmation that you've made to yourself. Who I am is enough. I don't have to be anybody else to please you. Who I am, warts and all, is enough. So today I invite each of you, not just to listen to this sermon, but to act. Let this not be just another sermon that you hear and you dismiss. Instead, decide to live some part of it. Embrace one authentic act, one moment of unmasking, however small or obscure, and watch how your life can change. There's magic in that. There's magic in allowing that mask to be removed. So take off some mask. Take off that mask for your greater good. And realize, people can't love you if they don't know who you are. And if you don't let people know who you really are, you kind of end up living a lonely life. Don't put that out there into the universe. If you wear a mask to obtain something in your life, if you have to be something different than who you are to obtain it, realize that the cost of maintaining that mask is exorbitant. You can't keep it up. That's what happens often in new relationships. You pretend you're someone, he pretends he's someone, or whatever the case may be. And after a few months, you can't maintain that. So the relationship diminishes because you weren't that person. That's like me pretending I'm a cook. We can't heal what we conceal. We can only heal what we reveal. If I'm hiding who I am, I can't heal that. Because when I'm hiding behind that, the pain only grows deeper and deeper. The trauma becomes bigger and bigger. So I have to reveal what's hurting me, what needs to be healed. And the wonderful thing about this center, that's what helped me grow into being a better person. I remember when I first started coming to this church, I used to come late so nobody would hug me. I used to leave early so nobody would hug me. I didn't want to be touched. It was a long journey for me to get to that place of deciding I can give you a hug and you can hug me and there's nothing intended behind that hug. You see, I feel that this place, this church, this center has allowed me to grow into some of the things that I can be. So remember, that is the beauty of this church, this center, this place. It is so accepting of everyone that you are. So my prayer for you today is to discard who you think you should be and to live the life of who you are meant to be. A spiritual being having a human, authentic experience, knowing unconditional love and acceptance, and feeling good enough, really genuinely feeling good enough about who you are, because who you are is perfect in every way, and so it is. So many years ago, there was a poem I found, and this poem had a profound effect on me. And I'm hoping the poem will have a profound effect on you. So I got it printed, and the poem says, "Please hear what I'm not saying." And it's about the masks we wear. I'm not going to take the time to read it, because you can read it, because it's 4 pages. You see? When I first read this poem, it took me a while to understand it, because I didn't realize that I had all these masks in front of me. And as time went on, the poem became very important to me, because I knew I had to let go of some of the things that were bothering me. So I'm going to leave this up there at the back. So please take one as you leave. And now, can we please have an usher or the ushers? Or I'll send around the basket. Thanks, Russ. You can do that. Reverend Tess,